Hey guys, it's Sarah. Today's video is going to be all about some products that receive a lot of hype on YouTube and just from the online beauty community, but for me, they did not live up to the hype. I'm not saying these are bad products. Most of them are products that I still use and like, but I just don't feel like they stand out above all the other products in my collection to the point where I feel like they deserve a ton of hype. So I have some high-end products here, some drugstore products. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Most of these products, I mean, all of them really, I bought because of the hype. I mean, most of the products that I buy are ones that I hear about on YouTube. I hear somebody review and I'm like, oh, that sounds really good, I want to try it. The first one is from Too Faced. I think this is the only product that I own from Too Faced. It is their Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I have the shade Snow. First of all, I had quite a journey landing on this shade. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I think I actually had to exchange it twice in order to get the right shade. I hate saying that because, and I've learned my lesson now, like I need to go into the store and actually swatch a complexion product before I buy it, unless the only option is to buy it online, and then I need to be really careful about checking like a foundation shade finder website first. Okay, so that's out of the way. I feel like Too Faced shade range is a little difficult to navigate. I don't know, is that just me? But anyway, I landed on the shade Snow. I think this is like the second lightest shade, and the shade works well for me now that I finally have the right one. But that's not the issue, okay? It's not that this is a bad concealer. I'm wearing this today, but I bought it because so many people said that this is like an amazing full coverage concealer, but that it looks a lot better on the skin than like the Tarte Shape Tape, which I haven't tried. Basically, I wanted a full coverage concealer that would still look kind of skin-like on my skin, and while I like the way this concealer looks on my skin, I don't think it's full coverage at all, and that's coming from someone with quite pronounced dark circles. You can see I'm wearing it today, and I feel like you can totally still see some darkness showing through there. I just got it thinking it was going to be this like super high coverage concealer, and while I think it is like medium to high coverage, it's not the fullest coverage concealer out there. I do think the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer is higher coverage, but that one is a lot like thicker and heavier than this one, so that's the trade-off there. It's not like a standout concealer to me. I like the Jordana Take Cover Concealer better, and that one is also called a full coverage concealer, but first of all, it's like $5. Second of all, it looks so beautiful on my skin, whereas this one just, I mean, it looks fine, it doesn't look bad, but it's not, I'm not in love with it either. So that's why this one just didn't really live up to the hype for me, but at the same time, it's not a bad concealer, excuse me. But at the same time, it's not a bad concealer, and it is a really good value. You're getting half of a fluid ounce in here, which is like double the size of a typical concealer, so not bad in that regard. Okay, a drugstore product that I don't really get the hype, and it's not a bad product, but I just don't see how this stands out above all of the other products in this category. And it's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Okay, first of all, glaringly obvious elephant in the room here. My packaging broke when I had only had this for maybe a month or so, and I took it with me on a trip. The front part broke. I ended up just taping it down to keep it together. And then also the little latch part broke off. Fortunately, it still closes, but it's cracked here. It's just packaging wise, this is, I think a lot of people do complain about the packaging on this. What's with the honking, guys? Can we simmer down? Packaging doesn't matter that much to me, but it's just a regular old bronzer to me. I'm wearing it today, it looks nice. I have just the shade Bronzer, so it's just like the original shade. It could be that I may get on better with like a lighter shade, but I feel like I have a lot of bronzers this shade, and it just doesn't stand out to me the way that the hype would have made me believe. And I mean, I like my Milani Baked Bronzer just as much. I feel like that one doesn't get nearly as much hype. I mean, this has been known as like the best bronzer at the drugstore for the past few years, I feel like, and it's not a bad bronzer, but I just don't see the hype. And you guys know I don't purchase from Physicians Formula anymore just because they did change some of their practices, and I no longer consider them cruelty-free. So, but I still wanted to mention it because it's still a very hyped up product, and I don't really see it. I don't know what I'm missing. Oh, and if you don't like a heavily fragranced product, you would not like this. It has a very strong like tropical smell. I don't mind the smell, but it is it is there. Okay, another high-end product that I liked perfectly well. I actually finished it up. This was included in my most recent empties video. But this is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. I cut it open because I wanted to get all of it out of there. I just have the like mini size. This was like the 0.75 ounce size. Plenty of product in here to develop an opinion on it. This I would classify as like a hydrating and glowy primer. It's kind of both in one, which is great. But I just feel like there's so many of this exact same kind of product at the drugstore that I like, that I just don't really see what is so special about this. Like, so many people rave about this, and to me it's just like another hydrating lotion-y primer. It's not bad, I enjoyed it, but I just don't see the hype. Another drugstore product, this I feel like doesn't get quite as much hype anymore, but it's the Milani Bold Obsessions eyeshadow palette. So many people, when this first came out a couple years ago, were comparing this to like high-end eyeshadows, and there's a few shadows in here that I don't even really like. Like, the gold is very chunky and flaky. Some of them are like really dry. This red over here is pretty, but it's not super pigmented. Like, the reds in the Modern Renaissance palette are way more pigmented. Some of the shimmers I really like. The mattes I really like, but then this taupe shade here is really dry. This shade right here, Smoke Signals, looks like a really pretty shade in the pan, but it comes off just like a blah, like charcoal gray. The shades in here are just kind of hit or miss for me, and so I'm kind of missing like where all the hype came from. I really like the packaging. It looks really sleek and high-end, and I like the color selection in here, but I just didn't find the formula to be so incredible that I would compare it to a high-end eyeshadow palette. It's not to say I don't like it, but I didn't really get the hype. Here's another eyeshadow product. This is high-end. These are the Stila Glitter Glows. So many people love these, and I like them. I'm wearing the one in Diamond Dust on my eyes right now. I bought these in a trio, so these are the mini sizes. I bought them in a trio for $15 a little while ago. It was like a holiday gift set. They usually have gift sets of these for like 3 for $15 around the holidays, so I would recommend if you're wanting to try them, get them then. So I technically got them for a drugstore price. I mean, to me that's very inexpensive for a high-end product like this. Individually full size, they're $24 each, which is a lot for one eyeshadow. These, okay, my first problem with these is that they dry out really, really quickly. Now, if you've tried the full size of these, maybe you can tell me if yours dried out as quickly as these did for me, but I think these, for me, these dried out in like 6 to 8 months. Definitely less than a year, and that was after not even using them that many times. Like, these aren't something that I reach for all the time, except for now because I'm trying to use them up before they like really dry out. I've revived them multiple times with like eye drops. I've taken the stopper out, I've like mixed them around, so I've been able to squeeze some more use out of them. That's my main issue with them. I just don't want to be spending a high-end price on something that's gonna dry up within a few months, basically. And then the other thing, like, even when they were nice and juicy and not dried up yet, I had a very hard time getting these on evenly. So it's just kind of a flat paddle-shaped doe foot applicator, and I would end up getting like globs of it in certain areas, and then I would try to blend it out with my finger and it would kind of just stick to that area instead of blending out to a nice even coat. So I just find them difficult to work with. And then the other thing I don't like is they're hard to remove, and I think that's probably true for any glitter like this, but whenever I remove my makeup at night, even if I'm using like an oil-based cleanser of some sort or an oil, I still, once I've washed my face, I still have little glitters all over my eyes, and that's doing like a double cleanse. So 3 reasons why I just don't feel like these are that incredible to me, and I would much rather just buy a drugstore version of this type of product. So many drugstore brands are making these now that I think that that's what I would go for next. I know Milani makes some really pretty looking colors. A lot of brands are making these, so I don't know. I would like to try some from other brands to see if maybe those don't dry out as quickly, but yeah, just between the shelf life and the hassle of using them, I just don't really get where the hype comes from. Okay, the last products that I don't feel like live up to the hype. Now, I debated whether to include these in this video because both of these have been reformulated, but these are the Bight lip products. This is their matte lip crayon, and this is their Amuse Bouche lipstick. Like I said, both of these have been reformulated, so I'd love for somebody to tell me if if you've tried the old formula and the new formula, how they compare so that I can know if maybe the new formula would be a better fit for me. But both of these are both the shades that came with the Sephora birthday set a couple years ago. The shades are Glacé and Chai. I just think these are too creamy, and it's not that I don't like a creamy lipstick formula. I really like the Red Apple lipstick formula. I really like the CoverGirl like cream lipstick formula. Those are both very creamy, but it's like these are creamy yet thick. And part of it could be that I'm not in love with either of these shades. I'm actually wearing Chai right now, but I did it sort of like a blotted lip type of look, so that's the one way that I do enjoy wearing this. But like full on color with this, it ends up looking bumpy around my lip line. I just can't get a clean line with it, and I feel like so much comes off that it's almost too soft, and I just prefer other lipstick formulas over these. And so many people love Bight lipsticks, and like I said, this may not matter anymore because they did reformulate. So if you've tried both, please let me know how the new formula compares, because if it's better, if you think I would like it, I would be willing to try it again. I would probably go for a lighter shade just because, well, I'm just not really a fan of either of these shades. They're both very like brownish, dark nudes on me. I know they're beautiful on deeper skin tones, but on my skin tone, I think they're just a little too deep for a nude, unless I'm wearing it as a blotted lip. So anyway, that's another one where I expected to be so in love with these, and I'm kind of just like, I don't know, I have others that I like better. So those are some products that I just felt like didn't really live up to the hype. I'm not saying that they wouldn't work for anyone. In fact, most of these do work well for me, but they're just not products that stand out to me. Like, I have other products in my collection in these categories that I like more than these, and many of those don't get any hype on YouTube. So it's interesting how hype plays into the way we view products. I bought these products expecting to love them, and while I'm able to use all of them, I just don't really see why they get so much more hype than other things. Let me know if there've been any products that you bought because of the hype and maybe they just kind of missed the mark a little bit. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up so that I know you liked it, and subscribe. I'd love to have you back. I do lots of videos about cruelty-free beauty, and I will hopefully talk to you very soon in my next video.